Okay, everybody, Take Your Best Shot podcast. Mike Griffith here, and I am with Tracie Radermacher, also known as Tracie McConaughey. All right, all right, all right. So, how's it going, Tracie?
All right, McGriff
You're
ahead.
the bass player for Pirahna, rock and roll band, right? It's actually not a rock and roll band. It's like a
It's metals.
metal,
Yeah.
but like hard metal.
It's more like a new metal, not your death metal or your black or your white or
You know, so
it's more like a corn.
corn. Okay.
Yes.
And so
Soft corn.
you have a new LP coming out or a
Yeah.
disc.
Yeah.
How many songs are on it?
I believe there is 12 songs.
Wow.
Some have been done before, but I think they've been digitally remastered.
All right.
So everything kind of has the same sort of feel. We had that done at Mike Byrne's studio. Names escape me right now, but great guy, Mike Byrne. Woo!
Right. So tell me, you said you started this band in 2007.
No, 2004 actually.
2004?
Yeah. And my girlfriend then, Melissa Fornes, good buddy, now Melissa Mackenzie, Jamie and Melissa, she said, "Chick, you just got to put an ad in City Pages and get what you're looking for," because I had, been in a band that, being kind of new to playing metal, it just didn't take off right. So, through crashing and burning, I put an ad out in City Pages, and I just said drummer wanted. There were about 40 responses, so less
Wow.
is more in this case. And I found Adam Easterbrook from there, and we met. We had a burger, a beer, and we got a space within 3 days with City Sound in St. Paul, and that's the fledgling beginning of Pirahna.
All right. Now,
Mhm.
who else is in the band?
My boyfriend Ryan Boyd, so he's been with Pirahna since about 2007.
Okay.
Our now singer Jesse Maloney, maybe, let's see, 2014. And there's been a lot of line changes throughout the years. Just, Chris Dolan, Benjamin Nichols, 100% Benjamin.
Cheers to that.
Salud,
Salud.
kanpai. Josh Angry, just a lot of people, Matt, I can't think of Matt's last name right now, was a second guitar at one point, but Tick Marsano was our first singer.
Well, you guys, Pirahna, I did a little research on Pirahna,
Yeah.
and you guys are getting big.
It was
Bigger. I mean,
bigger,
you're starting to
yeah.
spread your wings and get out there. I mean, you got a
Yeah.
following, and
Yeah.
you know. But take me. How did you start playing the bass? Because you're a small woman,
Mm.
and that bass is, and
It's a
when
big
you hold it,
bass.
you rock it. But I mean, how did you get into that? I mean, did you just pick it up one day, or?
Yeah. It's well, I started playing guitar in church, maybe late teens, and that you always have to have your influences. There was probably my best friend Stephanie Larson, and Polly Thompson, where you see somebody and you want to emulate what they're doing, be cool. So yeah, just real rudiments. Didn't play for a while after there. Was really into just running my brains off,
Sure.
out and ass off, I guess. But yeah, but through great challenges, breakdowns, insanity, I picked up a bass, and it was a way to spend time without really having to talk to people.
Right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I had a mental breakdown, I guess you could say, and I just picked up a bass, and it became a good friend.
I'm not going to pressure
Sure,
you, but
sure.
like, what happened with the mental breakdown? I mean, seriously. 'Cause
I can laugh about it now, but hey, when you're that age, I was probably pushing late 20s. I was dating somebody that I was crazy about, but was just a fucking asshole. And, you know, they want you to be something you're not, and you lose yourself in the process. And then you've got to find yourself back. So, yeah. So I couldn't run anymore. I just quit running, and I picked up a bass and started doing yoga, and, you know, became kind of somebody else, I guess. But I had
recreated
to.
you.
Yeah, I had to, just to get through it.
So when is the church going to invite Pirahna back for a concert?
Right.
Not going to happen? Not
I
going to happen?
don't think it would be good for anyone.
Well, you might scare the shit out of some of those kids. You know what I mean?
Hey, we're not satanic. We're not
No,
metal
I know.
like that.
I said
love,
scare.
Love God. Yeah,
You know.
scare God.
Didn't say you're going to start killing babies and putting spears through them or anything.
Right.
You know, but
Yes.
so, what you guys have your LP out or your disc? What's it going to be called?
I think it's just self-titled. We got this. Well, since we got that audio rolling
Yeah.
here, the back here.
Oh, look at that Pirahna. That looks like a pretty nice piranha, though. It's not like the
Yeah.
mean piranhas, the flesh-eating piranhas. That's a
This
pretty
is
nice
Chomp.
one. Chomp?
Chomp, yeah.
Chomp
if you
is the
want one of
mascot?
these, yeah. I'll hook you up.
Where do you go to get one of those?
Oh.
Pirahna.com?
Yeah, follow Pirahna.com. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Just hit us up. And I can mail you one, or if we're good buds or associate, whatever.
I'm going to take one.
Okay.
Extra large. Just tell me how much. I'll wear it all the time.
How about 25?
25 bucks?
Big.
All right. Cheers to that.
Salute.
It's a deal.
Hey.
So, you know, I've seen a lot of women that go out with guys
Yeah.
and they change completely.
Right.
And I've also seen a lot of men that have this controlling girlfriend, wife, whatever, and they change. And
Hate it.
I don't understand why people would give themselves up for somebody else.
I don't get it
You
either.
know, is it love? Is it like not real love, or is it just an infatuation?
I don't know.
Yeah, that
it's
happens when
good.
you have not such a soundproof office studio. But you know, we'll work
This
through
is
it.
a great place.
You like
I
it?
love this place.
This
yeah.
rocks.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
the listening audience only sees half of it.
Right.
But you know, in 6 months, this place is going to be
It's
a really cool
nightclub
place.
swinging.
And you know, the one thing I haven't told anybody is, you know,
Mhm.
Dan Sullivan.
I love Dan.
Yeah, he named it.
Oh, did he?
I said, whoever wants to name it, he named it the Bunker. I don't know if that's Archie Bunker, or like a bunker from the Luftwaffe or whatever. But you know, he's the one who won it because he's the only one who responded. So, you know, thanks for the response on that, Tracie. But you know, it was cool. So yeah, this is a cool place. I really like
it. Is cool.
it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not in the best neighborhood and all, but you know what? Fuck
It's
it.
real.
Doesn't matter. You
Yeah,
know, and that's what
yeah.
I'm trying to get at is real.
It's great pho.
Real appeal.
Pho down there, pho that away. It's very
Yeah.
ethnic. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the next couple shows going to look like for Pirahna? Where are you going? Anything big?
Well, yeah, we're at the Poorhouse October 13th. It's a benefit for our buddy Sasquatch, so it's Squatch Aid / Pirahna CD release.
All right.
Yeah, and it'll be from 6 to 10. There's 2 shows at the Poorhouse, and it's usually fucking Latin night after that, which is cool as shit. But yeah, they really make a money on the weekends with 2 shows. So you come on down. We're gonna have raffles, swag bags from local bands, art, a silent auction, maybe fishing rod from Eric Anderson. Eric Anderson, are you out there? So yeah.
Eric Anderson of Delta Airlines?
Yeah, I gotta
All
hit him
right.
up. I
The
know
fish-
he's friends with Squatch, so.
Freedom Fishing Foundation.
Yeah.
And we're going to have
what a
Eric
good
on
guy.
pretty soon.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I
yep.
like him.
I want to know the folklore behind that story. If it's true that he saved James Brown from engine ingestion, or if that's just somebody that made that up. But
I don't know.
yeah,
You know,
he's a real hero.
yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah.
So, you got your thing on the 13th?
On the 13th, this
Yeah.
is Saturday.
Okay. And
Come on
then
out.
Any other shows after that?
Let's see. We always talking tour. So we're going down to Iowa December 8th. Vaudeville, Muse. We'd like to piece something together, maybe a couple weeks or
Sure.
strategic, maybe a Thursday through Sunday and then another one and then another one consecutive.
Now, do you guys make money at this?
It's hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard. Yeah. I did get on a tour this summer. It was a last minute deal. It was like I got the Facebook message from a buddy, Nate Anderson. Now buddy. At the time, we had only played one show together at Woolies in Iowa. But yeah, he put my name in the hat. They needed a bass player last minute. I learned their shiz in 2.5 days. Flew out to Denver, auditioned, and then it was 3 weekends that I'd fly to since I had to keep on working, not knowing what really was going to be the payout on this. But yeah, it was a great experience. It was the first weekend, it was Des Moines, Chicago. Second one was Nashville, Memphis, St. Louis, and third one was Kansas City. And then Denver never happened. It just, the vehicle blew up right there in the parking lot.
Oh, no shit.
And yeah, so, but yeah, great experience. I'd love to get out there again.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you that I got I was in first class on a flight to L.A. and I sat next to one of your heroes. And we jibber-jabbered for about 2 or 4 hours.
Who is it?
Nikki Sixx.
Oh my God. That's
He
so
was a pretty cool
awesome.
guy, man. And the only reason I got on that flight is
Yeah.
because Tommy Lee was still in the bar and he missed the flight. So I was non-revving and there was one seat available. And I popped it right next to him. That's where Tommy Lee was supposed to sit. And he just kind of looked at me and, because he knew that Tommy Lee wasn't going to make it, because he was getting shit-faced. But good guy. And then afterwards, I didn't really know, a lot about him.
Right.
And then afterwards, I read about him, and that guy's lived 5 lives? He's been Dead 3 times?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Kickstart my heart.
You should have brought your bass.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. And do it. That would have been hilarious.
That would have been cool, man.
So,
but
yeah,
so
that
when was that?
That was, unfortunately, I was going out for a funeral.
Oh, sorry.
And so that was 8 years ago. It was
Yeah.
right before his solo stuff came out,
Goosebumps,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
His tattoos are fading, because he's getting a lot older, and he had all black hair, like it was dyed black,
Right,
and I'm just
right.
dude, he looked pretty worn, but he was cool.
You didn't say that, did you?
No, I would never
Yeah.
say that.
I think he's getting better. It sounds kind of like, serendipitous. I think I Ralphed him 8 years ago by pure serendipitous events. Tucci, that works the counter, he just had that knack for looking up P&Rs and fucking showing up on the scene, and then he had his book release at the Mall of America. It sounds like, timeline correct. I think that was about 8 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know, have a clue why he was there.
Well, I think it was for his book signing, and then Tooch, we somehow became, escorting him through security, which he was like, all right, you guys, you can come with me. I said, can I carry your bag? I'm a professional luggage smasher, and he's like, no, that's all right.
Luggage handler.
The handler, just
We
kidding.
handle them. We don't smash them.
I
Drace.
keyed. Yeah, bag mother chuckers.
Yeah.
But we got to the gate. Trained in a Rolfing technique, which is like a structural integration, realigning the musculature compared to a chiropractor that cracks your bones. And I said, if you would like me to Rolf your shoulder or anything like that, because he was talking about his dirt bike accidents and his hard living, and huge crush. So I actually got to touch that guy, and
Wow.
I felt like throwing up and passing out, and
Getting all excited, just going, ooh. Yeah.
Energy.
Nikki Sixx.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
just amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Wow, what a large life.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing that we both have met him.
Crazy.
Isn't that weird?
There's no accidents, are
Yeah.
there?
Well, tell the guy that T-boned me about 3 years ago. That was an accident.
That was.
So-
Only that one.
So, you know, one of the things about you is that I don't think there's anybody out there who dislikes you.
Oh, you're
I
so
really
kind.
don't. I don't really, because every time I see you, I leave smiling. That's a rare talent.
Well, word back
Yeah,
at you.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, it's
I
a
always
rare
enjoy
talent.
seeing
'Cause,
you. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm not always everybody's friend, but you seem to come and be able to do that. And so, how do you do that? I mean, it's just being you.
It's a lot of yoga, man. It just came from yoga, all the wetness here. But yeah, St. Paul, yoga and health. Through that, you know, mentalness, the late 20s, early 30s, you know, where you break it down. Just getting into the hot room, getting into yoga, fucking like, probably do it 7 days a week if it's
No
just
kidding.
quick, you know, just quick to get your mind right, get some breathing to get
It's like
that bad out.
chiropracting your body or your mind.
Totally, man. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
So you brought up something earlier about the thing you wanted to talk about,
Oh,
and I
sure,
don't even know
yeah.
what that is. So explain it to me, because that's
Yeah.
it's like
Yep.
mind-altering stuff, right? Or,
Yeah. Mind-boggling.
Wow.
But yeah, been watching a lot of Joseph Campbell, kind of a modern-day philosopher for our era. He's gone now, dead, but there's a Netflix. It's Joseph Campbell and the Power of Myth. I think it's maybe 4 to 6 part with I want to say Charles Carroll. So it's older, but it's so awesome just to, you know, have this modern day philosopher, just like a Socrates, you know, he's laying it down in the form of myth.
You mean Socrates?
Yeah,
Okay.
Socrates. Yeah.
Socrates.
Socrates. But yeah, you know, it just makes you feel like, you know, there's a teachable guy out there that is so calming for what you're going through. And he calls it a hero's journey. Like, you know, being born is a hero's journey. Just to be born, that's a baby having that conquest coming into the world. The mother, again, having a hero's journey to give birth. And, you know, as you go up against things, there's so many cultures, you know, that he cites with, you know, Christ, with Buddha, with, you know, Muhammad. There's all these people, even the shamans that, you know, high priestess, that have this ability to have a teachable moment through their conquests, and how the people then feel one, you know. I mean, it just, I don't fucking know what I'm doing here, you know. It's just like, you know, the beauty of getting a little older is the knowledge that you come into, you know. So, and I think he cites energy and consciousness as the same thing. That's his own original thing, and it's like, wow, he's really discovering there, you know, if you think about it deeply. So
That is cool. I think
yeah.
I've actually seen parts of that.
Yeah, it's so
'cause
good.
It sounds very
Yeah,
familiar.
it's older, yeah. And
With
then
the
you
energy and
got
consciousness.
man, totally.
You know, it's they're one and the same.
It
And he
is.
goes into the chemical side of it, right?
I
Where
believe
Yeah,
so,
the chemical
yeah.
side of energy and the brain and
Yep.
the consciousness and stuff.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
far up.
It is.
You know,
Yeah.
I think it's a little above my head. You know, because I tend to be a black and white type of guy. You know, it's like this or
That's
that,
why we
and
love you.
I just go straight ahead.
Yeah, yeah. You know what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
You
so-
live by a code.
Sometimes I listen to like the philosophy, and you know, I've read a lot of you know, Plato and stuff, and
Mhm.
I'm just like, man, you're just wasting so much time thinking. Start doing, you know, and you know, and so I struggle with philosophy, and because I
Right.
had to take a bunch of it in class, and you know,
Sure.
with Homer and some of those stories, you know, like Odyssey, you know, you
Yeah.
just go, man, the guy just
That's
thinks
a
too
hero's
much.
journey.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
right.
hero's journey.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I've read all of that. I understand the basics of it, but understanding it at one level and really understanding it at a different level are two different things.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I read it like it was a story versus the consciousness of a man's thoughts.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
different when you do that. And
It
I think you were
is.
right about age.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 18 reading that, you don't understand it because you just
Yeah.
don't have the life experience.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
and so I went back and read some Plato about 6 months ago, you know, the Republic. And I came up with a completely different thought
Ooh.
about that. And so, you know, maybe I'll go back and read or watch this Netflix special.
Yeah,
It might
yeah.
be good.
Yeah, and then the other one is Finding Joe, and I think you gotta find that on like fucking Apple Music or something like that. But or maybe a Hulu. But that one too, you know, where you think the universe is calling you. It's a little kid that portrays this in a night outfit, like, oh, there's a telephone ringing at the phone booth. So, you know, should I pick it up? Should I just stay on the couch and eat these Cheetos? What? But the more you pick up that phone when the universe is calling you, the more you're gonna get calls,
Oh, absolutely.
and the more you're gonna exceed in your journey.
Right.
And then there's an Asian man that's saying, if you want to exceed in living, and I believe as like a human, I think that's what he's meaning. You know, it's you have to get used to dying. You have to die a lot to advance, and that's just like dying,
Now, is
shedding. You know,
Dying equivalent to failure?
I think so, to
Yeah.
become your best self, you know. And I just went through that. It was just like, just livid pissed at my boyfriend, you know. And you know, he's doing a hero's journey, you know. He's trying to become his best self, you know. And I can't fault him because I did that tour, and I tried to do more things to exceed, you know, with what your passion is, playing bass or playing guitar. He's a guitarist. But you know, you have to want them to be their best self. So if he has to go out and you know, take on more work as a guitarist just to become the better self, I want to support him in that. You know, the sky's the limit when you start doing that, when you start dying, just to get to, oh my god, I didn't know it could be like this, you know.
Yeah.
This transcendental shit, you know.
Yeah.
So right here.
Yeah.
But it's fun, you know. I mean, when you start thinking like life like that, and then there's another guy who must be some kind of guru with the really clear eyes, and he's talking about life is so short. I mean, it's so short, and you know, you can apply that when you're in a fight with whomever. You know, I got in a fight with one of my really good buds that we're gonna go and we're gonna have a lunch after here, but life's too short to be pissed off. You want them to be in your circle of friends. So
Right. I've always thought that you
Mm.
gotta be in the game.
I think so.
You know, if you're on the sidelines,
Yeah.
you're never gonna get success.
Right.
And you're
right.
gonna get in the game. Take your
Right.
lumps and bumps. Get
I
beat
like
up,
it.
lose,
Yeah.
fail,
Right.
get your ass back up,
Yeah. Yeah.
and go. And that's in
Mhm.
life too. Not just
Yeah.
in business or, you know, relationships. It's with
Mhm.
everything.
Right.
And I see so many people that are willing to sit on the sidelines. And I
Right.
don't understand that.
Not picking up the phone.
Yeah,
Universe.
yeah, exactly, same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's you just, if you want to do it, do it.
Do it.
And
Time is now.
you know what? If you fail,
Mm-hmm.
so what? You
So
know,
what?
you just gotta go,
I
go,
know.
go. You know, and so I see a lot of, you know, people that will just, and it kind of breaks my heart in a way, where I see people that work a day, they come
Right.
home, they eat dinner, and they sit and watch TV, go to bed.
Couch.
The next day, repeat.
Yeah,
And
they're
they
afraid.
do that, and I don't
Yeah.
understand it. You know, they may make good money, they may not. It doesn't matter,
Mhm.
and all of that. But they continue to do that, and all of a sudden they're old.
Yeah,
And
it's
then they're
over.
like, oh, what did I do? Well, you did nothing. Sat on your ass, you know.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
and that's not a life that I want to live. I
Yeah.
want to be going. I
That's
want to
right.
do.
That's right.
Now, whether it's what everybody else likes is another story, because it usually
Mhm.
isn't. you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's I think that a lot of what your thoughts are true. They really are.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
yeah.
accurate. Of
I
just
hope
going
so.
out and
We don't even
doing.
know.
well, at the end of the day, it's what
Yeah.
you want to be happy. So you
Right.
do what makes you happy.
Follow your bliss. That's the
Yeah,
Joe
the
right
bliss,
there.
the
Yeah.
bliss.
Joe knows.
Joe.
Joe.
So what else you been up to?
Well, in preparation for your show today, I was watching, Shania Salt. You know,
Okay.
if we want to kind of combine, bass influence and a little more of that meat. I was listening to her podcast. Shania Salt used to be Rob Zombie bass player.
Yep.
And man, when I was growing up, I wasn't into the hard. I grew up, pulling titties in the barn. I'm a fucking farm girl, and we were listening to country. And the hardest stuff I listened to, it was probably just like dance music, and maybe Loverboy. But no metal when I was growing up.
AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, none of that
I was
stuff?
scared of it.
Were you?
Eddie from Iron Maiden, I used to draw it, and then I'd have to
No
crinkle it
deal?
up because I was afraid of it,
Really?
I'm a cat licker. Just to this day, I go to church every Sunday. But it works for me. And just saying, when I watch old Rob Zombie videos, it was White Zombie for Sean. I'm just so blown away how cool that chick was, and she's still rocking. She's still doing projects. So, she's an artist. She's got basses that look like little caskets and stuff. And
Okay.
I love to see the women doing it, because you kind of touched on it earlier when you're like, I can't remember exactly. I'm a little nervous here today, but you don't want a woman to lose themselves, and you don't want a man to lose themselves when they're trying to be their true self. And here's this chick that gets together with Rob Zombie. I think they're going to art school and in New York somewhere. And she was classically a pianist since she was like 5. She always did the lessons and stuff. And she's just laying it down, playing bass, and she's looking so hot doing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the visual effect, and then, just we can do it, the female power.
I have a funny Rob Zombie story for you.
Oh, we sit first class right next to
It's-
him?
No, not this one. It's not even, Rob's not even in it, but his music is. All right? Wow. So
Get it, Griff.
I used to own a gym,
Oh, yeah?
and we were at a...
Was it Average Joe's?
No, it
No.
was
On
CrossFit
average.
North Star.
Really?
Yeah. And
Good
so
for you.
we had like a class that was all women, and I just used to crank the music super loud. And Rob Zombie came on as the song Pussy Licker.
I love
And-
that song.
And the co-owner looked at me and was like freaked out, and I'm just like, let it roll. They don't even know, and if they do, so what, right? He's like running across the gym,
Yeah.
flipped it to the next song, and I was just like, what a pussy, come on, just nobody cares.
Nobody
You know,
cares.
I think we're beyond that type of stuff. It's just the song lyrics. It's not like it's the Bible.
Did the
you know what I
chicks
mean?
like it?
They didn't even know what was going on. They're busy working out.
Right.
And so they don't care.
They probably would have thought it was empowering,
You
It's
think
like,
so?
fuck yeah, pussy lookers.
Yeah. All right. So that's cool. Now the
that's
other thing I
awesome.
wanted to talk to you about is how are you lasting out on the Delta ramp? I mean, you're small, picking up these big bags.
Right.
You're gonna be in the bag room or?
Solid no. No, man. I do it 4 days a week. I give time away for band prac on Mondays and Wednesdays, and playing shows and living my truest self, really, if I can get by on living cheap. But yeah, it just feels like, the little ant that can move the rubber tree plant. I do the yoga so I can keep on throwing the bags, and I enjoy it.
It's
I
a
really
good gig,
do.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It's
I
fun.
enjoy it. I'm only there
Yeah.
2 or 3 days a week, so
Good for you. Good
I
for
don't
you.
even get like beat up. But
No, it's like a workout.
yeah, it is.
You're hanging out with your buds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're butts.
Yeah,
they're
most
good
of the
people.
time it is.
Most
Yeah.
of the time.
A lot of characters out there.
Oh, there are. There's. So tell me one of your favorite stories from Delta.
There's so many, Is this PG?
No, this is whatever you want it to be.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
You can do it.
Well, yeah. Back in the day, there was more stories, let's say, but yeah, maybe have me back on for one of these. I can't really think that's appropriate right now, but just okay. How about the milkshake story? Tim Hauser, one of the funniest MFs out there. They were doing the gallon milk challenge, and so people were coming in with gallons of milk, and somehow this got started out of the gold transfer area, where you were trying to drink a gallon of milk within an hour because somebody read that it couldn't be done, and I believe it can't be done because there's something about the lactic acid in there will not allow you to drink a fucking gallon of milk in an hour. So yeah, people were trying, and Tim thought, oh, buttermilk will work better, and he gets it almost down within an hour, and he's got to puke, man. He can't keep it in, so he goes into the hallway and he throws up his gallon of buttermilk, and then the manager at the time, I think we called him Pantyhose. It was Primrose, so Pantyhose sounded like, a good name for him. And he sees the aftermath of the buttermilk throw up, and he comes in for his briefing, and says at the end of his briefing, "Oh, by the way, I think somebody must have dumped a milkshake down the stairs. Can somebody fix that?" Yeah. And I tried that fucking challenge, and it can't be done. Brian Burke tried it. It can't be done. But
Yeah, but why would you even want to try it if you saw the results?
Hijinks.
So you could be like,
yeah,
the big guy, I drink a gallon of milk?
I would do it again if you had one right here.
You
So,
would?
I would.
Really?
Maybe that'll be another segment.
Maybe you need to put like 4 or 5 shots of vodka in it. Loosen up the stomach. It can be done. There's some guys out there that could probably do it. Like Henry.
I don't think it can
Henry
be
could
done.
probably drink a gallon of milk.
You can have Henry on, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Set
no,
it
I haven't
up.
asked him yet, but he would be fun. But I think Henry could do it.
I don't think so.
No?
You want to do like a friendly wager or something?
We have to have Henry here. Because, I think he could do it, if anybody could.
Physically, I think we're not set up for it. You gotta have, like, I don't know, like a platypus sort of, leakage out, or, those duck glands that'll just do it.
Maybe just like a fish with the gills. And
Yeah.
it comes right out. So, tell me, where'd you grow up? Because you said you're a farm girl.
Yep,
A little farm girl?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, the good life.
I bet you in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yes.
How did I know that?
Yeah, we talk.
Oh, did
We're
I?
friends,
Did I make that up? I
Yeah,
thought
we're
I came up with
friends.
that. No? All right, so
You're a
Wisconsin.
visionary. Vision scary.
Wisconsin, a prophet.
Yeah, profit. So yeah, I was just, I had the birth and grew up there. Great life, It's so pure of living. We had a dairy farm, tobacco farm, and we worked real hard. We didn't get into town much. But my parents were cool. People think I'm a hippie. Yes, but it's not from like a commune upbringing. They were like American Gothic with the pitchfork. We had rules. That's what we did. Damn it. But they were also badasses. Very cool.
No, I don't know. What does that mean? Like, how are they Gothic and yet cool?
Well, just cool, like partiers. My dad could drink a case of beer and not piss. He landed a helicopter from the McFarland Days celebration on the lawn just because he had to get to the barn and milk the cows. I mean, you're drinking all afternoon, but you gotta pull those titties at night. So get to the barn.
Good life?
Get to the barn.
Hard life?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, I mean, but I just think the millennials need that sort of thing in their life, I wasn't lonely. They say the millennials, that's their only complaint, or their strongest complaint is that they're lonely. These are the idle things that are the devil's playthings, your hands, when you don't have anything going on. You need to get off that couch, put down the communicator, and go do some physical labor, Strong back is the cure for a weak mind.
Wow. You're a philosopher now. I love it. Now, is that something your dad would have said, or did that come directly from you?
I don't know. I like it. I think it's, I want it. It's not mine original. It might be my dad's. Yeah, lose yourself in your work, You got to quit with the plugging in and just work with your back and your hands and get dirty, get some dirt.
Could be. So,
Good.
do you got brothers, sisters, or anything, or only child?
No,
not on a farm.
One sister, yeah. One sister. She was, we're polar opposites, but man, I mean, completely. Like, she's born February 13th, 2:59 in the morning. I'm August 13th, 1:59 in the morning. Exactly 2.5 years apart. We couldn't be more different, but I couldn't love her more. She's white collar, and I was more seen and not heard. And she was always like, "Well, why do we have to do this? Why do I have to go to church? Shut up, just do it." Yeah.
Does she still live in Wisconsin?
Yeah. She's white collar. She went through a training program recently. She works for the state of Wisconsin, and she did I think it was like a 2-year program through the U where they groom women to throw a hat
How
in
do
the
you
ring.
groom a woman?
With a brushy.
Right. No, go ahead. I'm teasing you.
I know. But yeah. She'll probably run for local government, and shit, I wouldn't be surprised if she goes for the Senate someday.
Really?
And maybe higher,
Now, is she younger than you?
No, she's 2 years older.
2 years older.
2.5 and an
2.5.
hour. Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah.
You know what? There was a
What?
lot going on, man. I was born
Yeah.
during some of the Detroit riots.
Oh, serious?
The race riots
Where
I
were
had
you
back
born?
then. Detroit.
Shut up.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like Michael Moore?
I'm not a big fan of him.
Okay. That's the Dan
Uh,
McCurdy show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
like that because I'm sure Dan would like. In fact, I will ask him
Yeah.
if he's libertarian.
Oh, good for you.
I don't believe that another man, or woman in this place, but a human can tell me what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
From anyone.
I don't think
Right.
they have a right to.
That's
and
right.
that's part of my problem and part of my gift is that I went into the corporate world.
Okay.
I was going up the chain of command and
Yeah.
doing that whole
Yeah,
white
yeah.
collar thing, and
Right.
I couldn't stand these cocksuckers. They're
Just sucking it
pompous
too hard,
and
yeah.
and I just said, fuck it, I gotta go work for myself.
Good for you.
Because at least then I can at least win or fail on my own.
Right.
And I don't
right.
have to. So I haven't reported to anybody besides this Delta gig
Mhm.
in 20 years.
Yep.
Nobody takes
Yeah.
my time. I choose when I do things and how I do things.
I hear ya.
I've not since high school had to punch in to any position. That's kind of cool, And it's people just don't completely understand that have lived a life of punching in.
Right.
I can. What time you want to meet?
Yeah.
I'll meet here. Okay. And that's cool. I
Well,
like
you
that
better-
lifestyle.
Yeah.
And
good.
I
Good
think
style.
that
Yeah.
fits me well.
Right.
But I don't think that people have any right to tell me how to do things.
No, I think.
Tell me what to do and where to do it. Because I'm a
Totally.
free, I consider myself free.
I get that from
You know
you
what I
all
mean?
the time. Yeah.
And I'm not held or bound to anybody.
No.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's just the independence in me, and I've been that way since I was a little twerp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always that way.
Yeah.
Weird
So you
story
have your
about me.
Fist in the air.
Freedom!
Freedom!
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm half Welsh, so
That makes sense. Yeah.
those kids that have the bar between their legs when they're small and they gotta walk like this.
The Forrest Gumps.
Well, he had crutches, but I had a
Mm.
bar. And kids used to hassle me, call me retard and stuff. And when I was in
Really?
crutches,
Are you serious?
oh hell yeah! Well, I mean, this was this early '70s. But I remember one kid. He came over and kicked a crutch out from me, and I beat
Asshole.
the piss out of him.
Good
I was
for
like in
you.
first grade, and I'm hitting him with the crutch, you know, and I just had like a meltdown. I had enough.
Right, right.
And then after that, nobody messed with me. They didn't really talk to me, but they didn't like pick on me.
And you were all right with
I
that.
was, you know, I was like, all right, I learned a lesson. You know, that's kind of how it started.
That's right.
You know, fuck you.
You
you
got
know,
respect right there.
yeah,
You got street
so-
cred.
You know, yeah, street cred. Street cred is a first grader. But you understand what I'm saying is that's when
Yeah.
I learned. And thankfully, my parents got me in a surgery, and it all
Oh,
the
good for
disease
you.
was fixed. But
What was it
that
called? If you don't-
Perthes,
You had Perthes?
yeah, you ever heard of it?
Skittlepox once. No, no.
No, Perthes is where
Perthes,
your
no.
your ball joint
Yeah.
and your hip bone.
Mm-hmm.
The hip bone doesn't grow because it doesn't have any blood flow.
Gotcha.
So they went in and they broke my femur,
Damn it.
readjusted it, put
Mhm.
pins in it,
Mm.
let it get the blood flow, and let the joint, the ball joint,
come
let
alive.
it grow.
Yeah.
Come alive. And if I wouldn't have, my leg would have been like 4 inches shorter.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. So
Good
now,
for you.
yeah, well, good for my parents for smart enough
Oh,
to get
yeah.
me. Got lucky, got a good doctor, you know, and
It wasn't
worked out.
guaranteed, though, was it?
No, nothing is.
Right.
You know, but they put the decision on me. They said, "Do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
What would
I
have
didn't
been
wanna-
the fallout if it hadn't worked?
I would have had one leg shorter.
Okay,
I'd have been
so-
a cripple or whatever you want to call them these days.
You
You know?
took that hero's journey. Good
yeah,
for you.
I was in
yeah.
3rd grade and I made that big whopping decision.
That's
Never regret
insane.
it. You know?
Good for you.
So it's once again, you have to move forward. You can't be sitting at the same spot. You
Get
know?
off the couch, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheetos.
Cheetos.
You know. But you know, when we were kids, it was
Cheetos.
watching TV. That was it. Today they've got, you know, the Xboxes and the telephones
Right,
and you know, all
right.
that stuff, and
Yeah.
you just get lost in that translation. I
Yep.
mean, there's just they just lose that connectivity.
It's terrible.
You know, the last guest I had, Jeff Farella, he was talking about his kids and how like when he grew up, if you wanted to see somebody, it was like, hey, meet me down at so and so's house at 5. You know?
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
Right,
you know,
right. It's
Raising
nuts.
hell and stuff like that just is frowned upon. You know, I had a thought. You want to hear a thought I had?
I do.
I'm going to start a thought of the day on this show from
Did
now
it just
on.
come into your head?
Well,
Like Athena sprang forth?
came in my head on on Monday night. You know, in a break room, they're watching Monday Night Football,
Yeah,
and they have these announcers now.
right.
They're all politically correct, and they're all like decked
Uh-huh.
out in suits. There's a woman announcing now, and you know, when I grew up,
Yeah.
it was like Dandy Don Meredith, who got drunk every game. During the game, Howard Cosell smoking his cigar with his
Howard
toupee
Cosell.
on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
You know, and O.J. Simpson, well, you know, he's a
Mm.
convicted felon now. And then you had what was the guy that was married to that? Frank Gifford.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, these guys were like,
Yeah.
they were like the dads I grew up with. They drank, they had fun, they called the shots like they were.
That is cool,
They had a
man.
great time. But
Yeah.
today, it's all politically correct in their little fine suits,
Ah.
you know. It just, there's something amiss with that.
It is.
There's something wrong, I think, where we're so, like, I think if that crew from when I grew up was
Yeah.
doing it today,
Right.
they wouldn't succeed because people just don't see it. But they were rock stars back then. I mean,
They were.
They came into town and it was like, you know,
Gunslingers.
you know, yeah, they were. Don
Right.
Meredith he would be sipping his vodka during the game, you know. At the end, if it was a blowout, he'd start singing, what's that country song? Turn out the lights,
the
party's
party's
over. But he would
over.
sing that, and he was half under the bag, you know. And I just don't see that. That's what I grew up in,
Yeah.
and that's what I appreciate is that
Word.
roughness, that
the real.
the realness
yeah.
of it all.
Yeah.
It's not this phony, you know. It's not a show, you know.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
today it's a show, and I know that
It
there's
is.
millions and millions of dollars now.
Yeah.
But fuck, I can't even watch that shit. I haven't watched a football game in almost a decade.
I
you
know.
know, it's just not my gig, you know,
Right.
because it's just so out there for me now. But,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's or tail wagging the dog on everything. You know, you gotta always safeguard against everything that might happen. You have to, put out the fire before it even happens.
Yeah, and people
It's
are. I think people
crazy.
are scared today.
Scared today.
I don't know what they're scared of,
Even.
though. I mean, they're scared of life now.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So,
When do you think that all started happening, though? The breakdown of believing that you could trust, the manufacturers to give you good food, or the government to, have the right plan of action, or that nobody's going to take your kid. When do you think that breakdown happened? I mean, I got an
That's-
answer. I got one loaded for you.
Oh, you got it. So
Yeah.
this is a test.
Yeah.
Well, if I had to think about it, like when the breakdown happened, it was probably for me 9/11.
Okay. Yeah.
That's when shit
Goosebumps,
changed.
Right.
When
Right.
when they changed the security, everybody got a little bit scared. If somebody was dark skinned, looked like a Muslim, people
Terrorist.
got a little freaked out.
Right.
And you're scared of your own shadow.
Totally.
And
Totally.
that for me was the change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I wasn't in the country at 9/11. I didn't see 9/11 until like 9/14. I didn't even know it happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Where were you?
I was up in the bush in Ontario, and there was
Yeah.
nothing up there.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have any kind of knowledge that it happened. And when we were coming back into the U.S., there were armed guards, on the border, with their M16s or whatever guns they're carrying. They looked under our car. It was a 4-hour wait to get in. And so that's when I realized everything is changing.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
for me,
yeah.
and I think that's when people got the fear factor.
Yeah.
Is what I call
The
it.
fear factor.
So what's the answer that you have?
Well, I've always just, I like to think of reincarnation, and I'm going to wrap this all up with a bow. I love watching Vietnam movies. Hamburger Hill is like top 4, Deer Hunter, and I think right there where you couldn't trust the government, where so many young guys had to decide what they were going to do, if they were going to back this. And I remember, recently, maybe it was a podcast that, Bruce Springsteen was talking on it, and what he and his buddies did. They actually went down and did the steps where they said, hey man, we don't believe in this. We're going to become conscientious objectors. We're not going to, shoot our foot. Greg Allman did that. He shot exactly where he was supposed to. We're not going to Canada. We're not going to say we got a frickin' bunion. That's you, Donald. We're just going to do it the right, correct way. For the rest of our lives, we're going to be known, and we're going to have a stigma around us because our friends are going. But conscientiously, we don't believe that, if it's Kennedy or if it's Johnson, whoever's getting us into this, we don't believe in it. We just don't believe in it. And, I don't know, I got such utmost respect for veterans in general, but if you would have been living in that era, what would have you done? I mean, somehow, some way, if I got such a feeling that maybe I was there. Maybe, maybe I got my legs blown off and then I didn't get to use my dick when I'm 20 years old for the rest of my life. It's so impassioning to think that if you would have stayed home and then your buddy comes home and he has the exact same scenario where he's in a wheelchair for the rest of his life because somebody made that decision for him. That's not fair, It's just so unfair. And now with the government situation the way it is, yeah, I'm a liberal. Yeah, and I would not trust anybody to make that decision for me. I'm just so glad that the military, there's people that do, sign up for that. They believe in being a career military or doing a tour, men and women now. I really like the equalization of men and women with anything, needs to come up some more. There needs to be the balance of power for feminine energy and masculine energy with government as well as the service, So I'm rambling, but I think that's where the
It's
breakdown.
like the Vietnam War.
Yeah, that's where the breakdown happened, in my opinion. Is the Vietnam War, where you couldn't trust the government anymore.
Yeah, I think we looked at that question two different ways.
Oh,
you,
sorry,
no,
sorry.
no, you're cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
You thought about when you couldn't trust the government, and then
Yeah.
I looked at when everything changed. So you know what I'm saying there?
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
everything changed, it was I thought 9/11, but you're right. The Vietnam War was a watershed moment for a whole
Totally.
generation and
Totally.
beyond.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
a lot of the
yeah.
kids don't even think of the Vietnam War today.
Oh, they
You
should.
know, they should. But it was like me, World War II, when I grew up,
Yeah.
it seemed like it was like a century ago.
Yeah,
But I was born 20 years only after it had ended. Think of that.
Yeah.
And there needs to be some critical thinking about what's real, what's not. And
every
you need
day.
to go with that. And
Every
but
day.
people don't have their filter is like this thick, where mine is like that, because I don't really believe too much
why?
anymore.
Yeah, you gotta ask why.
Exactly.
Why are we doing
I'm like your
this?
sister then, I mean, like,
Yeah,
fuck that,
totally.
because that's not true. I mean, I hear so
Right.
much stuff out there that is so wrong. Or
Right.
it's got a half truth,
Yeah,
and it's not really truth.
right.
It's kind of got that
Tail wagging the
bullshit that's
dog.
in between,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyways.
Anyways.
So I
yeah.
think we're going to conclude because you filled up your time slot there, girl. And you didn't think you could talk for this long.
I didn't, but you're a great host, so
Well, we had fun, and
Bring it,
that's all that
Mikey.
matters. 2 shots? That's
2
good.
shots.
2 shots. You want another one for the... Well, you haven't even finished that one.
I sip it. I'm a tequila drinker, but the host with the most has got this nice bottle. Oh,
Yeah. You like Russian Standard?
done.
I appreciate you coming in. You are
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the best out there, and you are a rock
thank you,
star.
Man. Back at ya.
You are a rock star. You know what I mean? You are. You are. It's
Doing
just,
it for my sisters and my
there-
brothers.
there you
and
go.
Following your bliss.
We don't handshake.
Oh,
If you
brothers and
bump-
sisters hug.
Oh, yeah,
Come
we'll
on,
hug. All
brother.
Good
Love
job,
you,
Trace.
buddy.
That was
Love ya.
great. You did a fantastic job.
Back at
Bodies at a time rolling down assembly lines, waiting for their time to arrive.